Oh, yeah, I have a story to tell, but so do the actors, and so does wardrobe and special effects and makeup and set design. The cast and crew that have come together to tell the story of The Stray, they're all going to tell the story in their own way, and the beautiful thing is that we can come together and tell this story the way it needs to be told. My job as a director is like a choreographer to bring this ballet, this dance together in a way that will be beautiful and compelling and live up to the truth.
I'm Allison. I play the role of Linda. Linda is coupled with Mickey, who's the love of her life, and they're about to move in and embark on what Linda thinks is the next chapter of her life. But the story is about reincarnation. It's this love story that spans time and generations.
Hi, I'm Eddie Daniels, and I am playing the Angel of Death in The Stray. And I'm so excited to finally be doing a project with Tom Ford. Very excited. And in particular, to be playing the Angel of Death in The Stray. Yes, and I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a bad character. I just like to connect souls.
Hello, my name is Gene Loveland, actor for the movie The Stray, written and directed by Tom Ford. The Stray is a thriller. It's something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while now. Tom and I started talking about it quite a few months ago.
Hi, my name is Andy Buelna, and I play Cecilia in The Stray, Cecil. I really like the story for its accuracy and sense of reality, but what's really going to mess with your mind is the sense of the supernatural.
My name is Mark David Preciado. Working assistant director on The Stray, and I'm also a filmmaker myself. And I think one of the reasons I got this job is because of my huge film knowledge, encyclopedia of movies, and so I know the language of film, and I felt that this was a great project to work on and be a part of.
The screenplay is amazing. The screenplay is written by Tom Ford. It's absolutely amazing because there's not a monster per se. You know, it's not like there's no monster in this story, but there's monsters. The monsters in this movie, The Stray, are the ones that reside deep inside, and all these characters are extremely human. You get to know them and you can relate to them.
Oh, I love horror movies. Horror movies are my favorite. They just, when you find the right story that scares you, you know, you get that reaction of being scared, and it's something immediate, you know, that only horror can really do.
It's just consequences that separate you from being a potential monster in this movie. It could be anyone. It's something in the mind or the psyche that flips and breaks and pushes people to the edge. Then your brain just goes, "Arr!" What? Like, how can these things happen between two people who are so just into each other? But it does, and it happens in The Stray.
After the trial, she kind of turned a corner. She was remanded out to Camarillo State, west end of the valley, and I went out there to see her a couple times. You know, every couple of weeks for a while. I don't know, I was thinking maybe I'd write a book about the whole mess or something. I was just never able to follow through. And that place was a tough gig.
My name's Tana Lee Moore. I'm going to be playing the role of Deanna, and I'm very excited to be part of this project. The Stray is a story of life and love, and maybe a little bit insanity, but what love story doesn't have a little insanity?
It's also the slow build-up, and the suspense. It's not just being scared and jump out of your seat. It's the slow build-up. It's the cringe when you're in your seat and you're grabbing the armrest and you don't want to watch, but yet you do. And Hitchcock was a master at that. So I love his film so much. When I read the script for this film, The Stray, some of the elements that came to mind were throwback to the old classic horror movies. Elements of Rosemary's Baby, The Omen, parts of The Shining. This movie, I think, has those elements thrown into them. So I think this movie will be a great throwback to that era of great horror movies.
Like old school horror films. This movie, this project, is so scary to the core.
As Deanna, I played the younger version of her and the older. I transitioned from a mid-20s woman until her in her later stages in life. And that transition, a lot goes through Diana's mind in that time. As I put myself in the role of the character, the circumstances from when she was a young woman to what she's endured through her life. She now has these different emotions and this different state of mind. She's not so longer innocent and naive. She's very straightforward, factual. I really have to go into these deep, dark places because that's where she is now. Everything that she's fought for and held dear is now being threatened by something that's unimaginable. How can you tolerate that? What can you do? I go places I don't want to say on camera, but it's really horrifying. And the first time I did it, the whole day, I was just so raw in emotions.
Hi, I'm Clark Mitchell-Long, and I play the part of George in the movie The Stray. Great part. I play the part of an orderly who has seen a lot of stuff going on in this institution that takes place in Camarillo. I've seen things that I didn't want to see, didn't want to believe, but they're happening. And I have to tell this to Detective Kuntz, which I'm kind of shy about talking about it, but the truth is the truth, and the truth shall set you free, as my mama told me.
The Stray is a story based on reality, but at the same time, it tests the limit of reality. What really drew me to the story of The Stray is the lead character has these conflicts and these dark emotions and history inside of her. Although she loves people, this comes out. And it really touches a deep core to me about the essence of humanity, how we have this huge polarity between good and evil, love and hate, loyalty and dishonor, and trust and betrayal. And you really see this in the character.
So I'm a God-fearing man. I don't believe in spooks and goblins and the reincarnation and what have you, but I'm not trying to convince Detective Kuntz that I'm saying this, but I had to tell him what I actually saw. And there was a lot of things that went on in the institution that at the particular time I wasn't allowed to talk about or tell. It's a great movie, great cast, great characters. It deals with the hereafter, which some people probably don't believe in. But once you see a ghost, you never forget it. So what are you going to do? You get to talk about it and explain it. And this is what I'm doing here, explaining to Detective Kuntz exactly what I'm seeing here. The great director, Tom Ford, who's directing this great, fantastic feature film. And I am glad to be a part of it. And I hope that you will enjoy viewing the movie and enjoying some great talent that's going to be portrayed here in these characters called The Stray.
Like, if you've seen The Exorcist, you would swear that the film it was filmed on was evil, that there was just evil incarnate in the whole process. And it's based on a true story. So is The Stray.
And it really provokes you and draws out these feelings you don't want to go there, but it hits there and you see these glimpses of truth. I was really excited when I met the cast and crew of The Stray. I feel really grateful just to be working with these amazing people that are coming together with all this enthusiasm and passion and just talking and talking about how much it moves them and it touches them, and to see all these professionals that are part of this. I'm just like so excited that I get to be part of it as well and where it's going to go.
The spirit knows that this film is being made about it and what it did and what it continued to do over time, and I think that energy just kind of transcends the whole project, and it gives me the chills just speaking about it. Like
it's a psychological thriller. It deals with reincarnation.
There's a lot more to it than that. I mean, that's a simple answer, and that's the difference.
I never gave much thought to reincarnation in the past, but since we've been talking about this and working through this project, it really opened my mind to it, that this can't be all there is. And so with my background work and studying and reading about it, it's been quite fascinating. So I'm really excited to make this movie.
I've never seen a horror movie that has a love story like this one.
How you doing? I'm Keith Balderston. Cast member here of The Stray. I'm going to be playing Howard now. Was fortunate enough to sit down with Tom Ford and Gene Loveland as we were discussing the story. It's almost like Gene was gravitating more towards Kuntz, and so there was a slot for Howard, and they thought I might be right for Howard. So we kind of read through Howard, and the material grabbed me, and these guys kept telling me, you kind of look like Howard. Like, we could totally see you being Howard in about 40 years. The part really grabbed me. Gene was kind of feeling a little bit more like Kuntz might be better for him. Gene's character, Kuntz, you can certainly identify with him. He's the, cop, maybe a little bit bitter, but he's still trying to fight the good fight. And you've got myself playing Howard, who's essentially trying to get on with his life and stay on the positive side of things. Yeah, Howard is a man who, went to prison, and anybody who kind of is even slightly familiar with that knows that changes you a little bit, changes your outlook on life. And, Howard's dealing with a lot of emotions. Howard's probably a little bit frustrated with life on a day-to-day basis, but he does his best to keep his composure. There's just a lot of endearing qualities, I think, to the different characters in the script that are going to make it fun to watch, and also as a viewer, going to give you the ability to really care about the characters, what they're going through, and also the story as well.
For the film, we've been able to acquire some locations that have a lot of history in them that pertain to the film. And while shooting there, some strange things have been happening while we're there. There's things you expect, and then these other things happen, and it's nothing you would ever expect. These circumstances or these events, they blow your perception of reality, and you come to face what is real and what's not real. Where are my borders of what I believe? And there's so much more that exists beyond that you have to open your mind to see there's so much more out there than we can even imagine.
And that's something really, really unique about this movie. And the love story part of it is very touching, and also part of what makes it so scary, because it feels so real.
Oh yeah, The Stray does have a love story in it, if Mickey's even capable of love. Is Mickey gonna see this? No.
Another great thing about this movie that appeals to just about everyone is the wonderful sex scenes. But these are hot sex scenes. These are like beautifully shot, because Tom, also because he's such a brilliant photographer, an amazing cameraman, he gets the most amazing shots, the most amazing angles, just beautiful. So the sex scenes, that's just palpable and make it extremely hot. Extremely hot and nutty.
There's a lot of attention to detail in this production. but these are the details we don't always want to admit to.
Film is not your normal slasher film or your normal horror flick. It's got a nice love story in it as well. It's well written, which is what's attracted me to it.
So what is it that invests you more into a film? Is it the characters? Is it to get to know them intimately, and on a very personal level, so that you can feel for them and relate to them? Or is it perhaps a mission, maybe a life and death mission? Well, The Stray has all this and more.
And a lot of it's reality.
The shit's real, and fact is stranger than fiction.
Because they are deliberate and calculated and anything but irrational. Their rationality, and you gotta get this, is not our rationality. That's the key.
It's real, and which is more scary than make believe sometimes. And
Did you feel that? Like a breeze?
this you see, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about right there. Did you see that? Feel it? Yeah. Jesus. In choosing a film or a script, you have to find something in it that you can relate to. And everyone in this film, the characters, the crew, we all relate to this on some level.
We all have done stuff that we're not proud of. This is really dark shit.
So I know it's going to ring true to a lot of people. They're going to see a little bit of themselves in each one of these characters. It's a universal story.
You might see yourself in some of these characters, but are these the things you really want to see?
Really great Hitchcockian camera work in this movie that's going to add to the suspense and the excitement. Is it really the end? You don't know. You have to think about it. You have to wonder. Reincarnation just goes on forever, like love. It's a love story. It's also a horror story.
The Stray is mostly about reincarnation and relationships, but mostly about reincarnation. Souls that live lives through time, through the things that they repeat, the things that they learn or don't learn, the cycles, the cyclical nature. Sometimes evil is so strong, evil is so strong that it transcends whatever time it is thrown into.
The project has some great talent attached to it, starting with Tom Ford, writer-director. I've worked with him before, and so I see his talent there. He has a great eye, being also a photographer. He can get the framing just perfect, and the composition of shots. He knows where to put the camera.
We've got a great cast, a great crew.
I didn't have a big part in this movie. I didn't last that long.
The beautiful thing about indie films, indie crews, is that everyone is trying so hard. Everybody works so hard. Long hours. The good news is we have a talented director who's taken a lot of time and energy into this project, and he's taken also a lot of time and effort in choosing who he's working with.
There's an amazing crew attached. Tom gravitates to amazing people. He always finds and brings out the best.
So not only is this a great story, but we've got everything's ready to go. We've got, we have so much already. We already have 3 years of work behind this project. We have wonderful production value here, and the importance of that, it just cannot be underestimated. Everyone, from the crew to the actors, everyone here is dedicated. They're on point. They're ready to go, and we're just really excited about this film.
Now, no one's even spoken yet about the music, the artists and musicians that have come together to submit music for The Stray, to write music for The Stray. The score is beautiful. The score is compelling. The score is poignant. And it also tells the story in the way that only music can. And it's going to enrich the whole experience of The Stray. I can't wait for you to see and to hear and to feel this story in only the way that cinema can bring a story to you.
Hi, I'm Dave Anson. I'll be composing the theatrical score for the feature film The Stray. Stray is one of the best examples of crowdsourced funding and indie filmmaking I've seen in many years. It's brought together such an amazing cast and crew from all around the world, and I'm fortunate enough to be a part of that. The Stray is a phenomenal story which will be directed by Tom Ford and portrayed by an amazing cast of actors. It's based on real events, which gives me a chance to really cling to the emotion and write some really emotive pieces of music to guide you through the horror and the tension that's portrayed throughout the film, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the final product.
We got Rose Lavelle, who's scored several songs for the soundtrack, and I've had a chance to hear them, and they are absolutely brilliant. They're going to blow your mind as to how well they help us tell the story. So another bonus is just the music is going to be outstanding. Going to have a great cast. You're going to have a great crew. This is going to be a dynamite story.
So this amazing crew has found these amazing locations. The house that we're filming in is so incredible, and it's old, and it's linked to the history of what happened in the movie. So it's already a living, breathing monument to the story of the film.
Oh, stop right there. I remember.
One of the great things also about making this film is that we're using some actual locations. Tom has taken great care into choosing the locations, the car that we're using in it. It's a 1967 Dodge. The house that we're filming in is 107 years old.
The same goddamn address. There's another crime. A very similar crime. Same goddamn crime.
The Camarillo State Mental Institution that we're filming at is creepy. Things have happened that hair standing up on the back of the neck, like weird things happen when you're shooting there. They say it's haunted. I believe it's haunted. And it's also linked to the reality of the story.
Filming in the actual hospital where all this took place is quite scary. And again, go back to reincarnation, and there's more to than what we are experiencing right here, right now. It's seeing and hearing things while during the making of it was sent shivers up my spine.
The making of this movie, the locations that they've chosen are just perfect for the story, just perfect. The Camarillo State Hospital, which all the staff there insist it's haunted.
It makes for quite a hair-raising experience, I will tell you that.
So, oh my gosh, like this is such a no-brainer. It's going to be so good, and it's going to be so scary, and you really are going to have to attend this film with nerves of steel, because it's going to get under your skin and creep you out and stay with you and stick with you and haunt your dreams.
There's scenes in The Stray that are out of your worst nightmare.
Although the Eagles deny it, a lot of people swear that the Hotel California song is about that hospital. You know, you can check out, but you can never leave. The house that we're shooting in is over 100 years old. And this story is, by the way, inspired by true events.
You know, it's taken from a true story.
It is about reincarnation. if you're a bad person in one life, you're supposed to come back as something worse. But what if you don't? What if you come back as the same person? Do you fight that evil, or do you become that evil, or how does it work? It's going to ask all these questions, and there's all these sort of reality things going into the movie that's going to really add to the organic feel of the story and the excitement of the movie.
You hear it all the time in the news. You know, a man freaks out and eats off a guy's face. It was like, boom, just it took a second for his brain to crack. And any of us could be that far from tipping over the edge ourselves. We all have dark thoughts. We all have maybe dark fantasies. We all have these moments.
I mean, haven't you ever wondered how the people that do these sort of things, what it is that gets them to a place where suddenly, shit, something like this is the right decision?
You know, like we get these crazy little notions sometimes that maybe most of us can kind of just, you know, blow out of our mind or just erase as like nonsense. But what if that thought took hold? What if that took hold and started to control your actions and control what you were doing, and suddenly the you thought you were just completely disappears and craziness ensues? What if that thought was a recurring thought from lives past? What if that thought had been ingrained in your brain like a groove, a deep groove in a record that plays over and over and over again? What if that thought, that groove in the record of your mind is so strong now that there's no denying it, there's no controlling it, there's no escaping it? All you can do is surrender to it. That is the circumstance of The Stray. And that's why The Stray is such a remarkable film, because it shows in the most horrific way how it could happen to you.
Now, I think this movie is going to scare the pants off a lot of people.
You know, when he was young, he was full of virile, full of fight in his life, and life, you know, you get tired of fighting. And now, at his, you know, an old age, he's got to fight the hardest he's ever fought. You know, can he do it?
The Stray captures these ideas of reincarnation and these ideas of not just reincarnation, but that souls are attracted to each other again and again and again. There's this beautiful love story happening throughout the movie, and their connection is so strong, and they're definitely bonded together. But as strong as that bond is, the cycle of their reincarnation and their faith is even stronger. And I don't know, you'll have to see the movie. Can the depth of their love for each other break the cycle of death and murder that they've been caught in? Or will it continue? You'll have to see.